Hi Capricorn, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing your July 2021 full moon reading for you. Now I ask if this reading resonates with you, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will be listed and linked in the description box below. Now before we begin this reading, let us clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds. Letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as we enter into this safe and loving space. Let's let the bowl sing as we see what the tarot has to say. How will Capricorn be affected by the July 2021 full moon? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. How will Capricorn be affected by the July 2021 full moon? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels. These ones right here. How will Capricorn be affected by the July 2021 full moon? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading. How will Capricorn be affected by the July 2021 full moon? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading. And show me clearly, angels. Now the bottom is our rooted self. The left-hand side is our inner self. The middle, our heart, our emotional self. The right-hand side, the public arena, the public self. So let's see what the cards have to say. We have the Tower and we have the Hierophant. The Hierophant represents Taurus energy, but there's a change around institutions, structures, ways that things once were. In our inner self, we have two cards here that are beautifully stuck together. Okay. We have the Death card, which is Scorpio energy, and we have the Devil, which is Capricorn energy, which I always thought was a bit rude, Capricorn. But you're represented by the Devil in the Major Arcana, and you're represented by the Pentacles in the Minor Arcana. So there's the essence of the self that is drawn to a profound and undeniable change. And we can also see that with the Tower. Now, this does play really beautifully into what the moon has to offer us during this time. Then we have the Knight of Swords, air sign energy, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. The full moon is in Aquarius, so that's going to be a very powerful pull for us. Then we have the Nine of Swords, which is doubts and fears, restlessness, restless sleeps. And also we have the King of Cups, water sign energy, Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer, amplifying the Scorpio energy that we have here. In our public arena, we have the Page of Pentacles, which of course represents us in the Minor Arcana. And we have the Hanged Man, which is saying that we are learning, and we're not seeing things the way that we once did, or we're seeing things very differently than before, and we're taking in a lot of new knowledge, a lot of new power because of that, because we're not going to be held to old ideas and old traditions and old ways that it has to be. We might find ourselves gravitating towards old traditions and old ideas because we want to, but not because we have to, and there's quite a difference to that. Now, this moon is the full moon in Aquarius on the 23rd of July. Now, you might argue and say that the full moon is in Capricorn, but the full moon is in Capricorn. Okay, the moon is in Capricorn until 8:12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is when the moon then moves into Aquarius. And then, because it is a full moon, the full moon comes into its full power at 10:37 p.m. So the full moon comes into its power is in Aquarius, and it's in Aquarius on the 23rd of July, but also on the 22nd of August. And we're going to find that both these moons are moving us forward in a way that almost feels out of our control. And that's going to be an ongoing theme during this time. It's a change that we don't feel that we have real control over, but we do in a really real sense, because we have control over the way that we respond to this change and the power that is within ourselves. So this full moon in Aquarius says, show the world the real you. And always the moon tells us that our power comes from surrendering to the divine. Now, when we show the world the real us, we also have to understand that during this time, we're going to be very drawn towards home and family and intimate relationships. So when we're showing the world the real us, the first place that we have to be truly who we are is in our home and with the people who are most dear and most sacred to us. And this is also going to be a time when opposite forces really come into play. Work, home, wants, needs, day, night. Everything seems to have a double-headed coin. A double-sided, double sides to it. And we're going to feel that we have two sides to ourselves during this time. And what are we focusing on? What do we want? We can feel pulled in two really different directions, especially if you have people that you're taking care of. You can find that there's a part of you that wants to be you, Capricorn, and there's a part of you that needs to take care of responsibilities. And that's going to be something that is really intense to kind of work out and to come into alignment with during this time. Emotions and instincts are really going to peak during the full moon. And so during this full moon, we need to be aware that our superpower is our emotional attunement and our intuition, our guide of our inner self. We're also going to be really aware of our relationships and the dynamics of these relationships, and also the negativity that's causing disharmony within these relationships. Now, the moon is going to be quincus Venus during this time. The sun is going to be quincus Jupiter, which I know is confusing, but we're going to be focusing on the moon right now, quincus Venus, which increases our need for love and affection, because this is Aquarius energy, because we are already focusing on emotions and our emotional needs. Everything's just going to be turned up a notch, amplified to another level. But as we focus on our needs for love and affection, this is also going to increase our tension, because we're going to be hypersensitive to the imbalances of our relationships, but also the tension between us and our loved ones. We're also going to be really aware of the imbalances around our self-love and our self-respect for ourselves, or our self-esteem. There we go. That's the word for it. And so this is a time where we need to find our balance and harmony. Now, with the sun quincus Jupiter, this is going to increase the tension of personal success within our lives, which is going to push us to a place that actually we appear really quite lucky. And what's going to be really interesting is everybody's going to appear really lucky during this time, but there's going to be this manic need to succeed, to have our self-worth kind of wrapped up in what we can achieve during this time. And we need to find balance within this, because this can lead to problems of greed and guilt and addiction. So we really have to kind of dial things back and realize that we're not simply our achievements. We are the body that we live in. We are the soul that represents us. We are so much more than what people boil us down to. Now, Venus is going to be opposite Jupiter during this time, which is going to be great for socializing and loving and relaxing, but it's also going to create a tendency towards laziness and carelessness, which is going to be at odds with the moon quincus Venus and the sun quincus Jupiter, because we're going to kind of drop the ball during this time. And again, because this is happening to everybody, because these forces are going to be affecting everyone, we're going to see that people drop the ball in little ways or in ways that we think are like purposely spiteful, but they're not going to be. They're going to just be this sense of, I really did forget, or, I just can't find the follow through. And so we're going to have to be a little bit more compassionate during this time with others, but also with ourselves. Then this moves us to the 8th of August, which the new moon is in Leo. Now, the new moon always brings us to a place of knowing that new starts are coming, to a place of new beginnings. And the new moon in Leo says confidence is your key to success. But we have to be very mindful during this moon because it amplifies, during this new moon, because it amplifies our ego and our pride. Now, the new moon is going to be squared Uranus during this time, which is bringing us sudden and unexpected change, which we see shown here time and time again. It's kind of like things just seem almost out of our control. We're actually going to be handling it really well in the public arena, but we're going to feel a little bit like outcasts, a little bit like we're the odd man standing out because we don't see things the same way everybody else does. And we're really going to think, wow, there's something wrong with me. And there isn't. There isn't. We just have to look at ourselves with confidence and not with ego, which is again going to be something really hard. We're going to want to stop the change. We just can't. Okay, this is going to bring us a sense of instability and chaos. This is also going to bring us a sense of anxiety and nervousness, but also really profound revelations are coming our way if we can step out of our fear. Now, we're going to have the strong urge to react to everything, just the sense of I need to act now. We're going to have this strong urge towards willfulness, and arrogance, and impulsiveness is going to be huge. That we have to be mindful of, that we have to call ourselves out on, because there's going to be a sense of I just need change, I just want something to happen, and so we're going to be astoundingly impulsive, where we really have to look at this time with flexibility, creativity, and intention, mindfulness. Because if we have an open mind, but also if we move forward with mindfulness of self and spirit, we're going to see that the universe opens up this wonderful new path for us and brings us to unexpected places through challenges, through changes. But also we have to be very mindful to avoid stubbornly sticking to old routines that don't work for us anymore. This then brings us to our roots of the tower. Now, this is when Spirit says, it's got to change. It's got to change. We're going to see ourselves moving forward with this tower energy. And this is divinity pushing us out of our comfort zone, whether we like it or not. Now, it can be a very small thing that has a very big impact on our emotional self. It could be a very big thing that we sit there kind of mouth open being like, oh my gosh, I can't believe everything has changed. The tower shakes us, and it shakes us in the way that we need to be shaken, but it also shakes us in the way that we're going to most resist too. There's going to be something here around institutions, around the way things have always been done, but also around a way that we start to see what is intrinsically true for us, what we can't live without, with what calls to our very nature, our very self. And so here, there's going to be a sense of, I'm tearing you open, like the clock comes open. We're seeing the gears inside, because I'm seeing what is it that makes you who you are? What is it that drives you forward? What is it that has this meaning, that has this power, that has this intensity to your being? And that is going to be the thing that we see here time and time again. And it leads us then to the devil. It leads us to our inner self. And this is a sense of, what am I tied to? What do I think I am supposed to be in order to be what other people expect me to be? What is it that I'm holding myself back with? Because Capricorn, the thing that we have to overcome in order to really step into the power of who we are is that we have to overcome what tethers us, what binds us, what ties us. This isn't so much as a fear, but it can be fear for some people, can manifest in this way, but it's also going to manifest in following the path most walked and doing it extraordinarily well. And that sounds like a really good thing, and it is, but there's also going to be the sense of, when do I get to express me, what I want, what I need, what I desire? The sense of, who am I when I take off the mask, when I break the chains, when I let my face turn up to the sun, and I let myself experience that which is terrifying and overwhelming, but beautiful and sacred to me. It brings us then to the death card, and this can be a a scary combination, the devil and the death card. But it's really quite a beautiful combination because we're looking at kind of like the puppeteer's strings, and we're seeing ourselves cut them so that we can move forward, so that we can say, but this is what I like, but this is who I am, but this is what I desire. And it's the dying away of the old self, the rebirth of the new. There's a sense of the stars are the limit. There's a sense of the world opening to us quite profoundly and quite instinctually. And I'm just seeing at this time that I completely forgot our energy that we need to be mindful of and our chakra energy. And that's going to be the pull of this time also. That we're going to want to just dive into the heart of things, that we forget the nuances that really do make a huge difference. So as we're seeing the dying away of the old self, the rebirth of the new, let us look at the energy that we have to be mindful of during this time. So angels and spirit guides, show me clearly, guide this reading. And it's the Prince of Wands. It's being caught up in the fire. It's being caught up in the passion. And that is going to be something that we can easily be drawn to during this time. We want to be around people of action. We want to be people of action. We have to make sure that that action is right for us, because there is so much change going on here that this might be a time that we need to step back and say, okay, you know what, spiritually, in honor of myself, I am going to step back of the chaos, step back from the chaos, and look at the way Spirit is telling me to move forward. It's almost like if you have a deck of tarot cards, you should start every day by taking that deck of tarot cards, shuffling them up, pulling one out, and letting that be your guide for the day. Letting that be the energy that pulls you forward, because there's going to be this random beauty, this sense of walk the path that you don't walk, do things out of the norm. And this is going to be a time where we want our passion, we want our fire to burn the brightest. So we're going to want to stay to tried and true routes. We're going to want to follow people who have already proven themselves. And this doesn't mean that we follow people who might not know what they're talking about at all. But this is saying this isn't a time to follow. This is a time to explore. This is a time to be an adventurer. And it moves us to our chakra energy, angels and spirit guides, show me clearly, of relationships, which is a huge part of the Aquarius full moon. But it's also a huge part of, the moon being quincus Venus. We need to embrace the tension within our relationships, the bonds of our relationship, what we love, what is sacred. The sacral chakra is a beautifully complex chakra energy. And so the sacral chakra is our love and our sexual energy, our erotic self. But it's also, and it's our creativity, but it is also our trauma and our drama from this life and from past lives. So as we're moving forward in our own energy, in our own awareness and awakening of being and self, we have to be very mindful of the chaotic energy that has become a part of us, either through, again, past life experiences or through this life experiences, negativity that we've held onto that no longer has a place within our lives. And so that's part of the dying away of the old self, the rebirth of the new. That's part of the change and the cutting of the ties that is so intrinsically important and also such a powerful and integral part of our inner self. It brings us to the Knight of Swords. This is going to be a time, especially guided by the Aquarius full moon, where we let the world see who we truly are, where we charge forward, where we cut through doubts and fears and hardships, and we embrace this white knight energy. There's going to be a sense, and Lord knows I felt it, time and time again, where it's like, I want to be saved, I want to be rescued. It's so hard to be different, and it's so hard to have to walk this world and find our own path. But this is going to be the energy that we need to embrace. Not the I want somebody to find me. I am finding myself. I am rescuing myself. I might be walking a path that people don't understand, but that's okay. This is me. This is my knowledge. This is my triumph. This is my coming together. And there's a lot of sleepless nights and fears and doubts that say, how can I? How can I move forward? How can I step out of the doubts and the anger and the hurt and the pain? And it's going to be painful, because if you look at the Nine of Swords, it's a ladder. It's a painful ladder, a ladder made of swords, but it's a ladder nonetheless. And so the ladder towards spiritual awakening, the ladder towards greater understanding of the self, the ladder towards the knowing of the mind and the heart is always going to be painful, but it is always going to be profound. And we need to take care of ourselves in order to have that profound awakening and understanding be a powerful part of who we are and also guide us in our truth of discovery. And it leads us to the King of Cups, which is the water sign energy being embraced. But the King of Cups for me is always the king who says, I rule me and no one else, nor do I want to rule anybody else. It's knowing that the waters keep us from other people. Our tide of emotions, it can be that, the thing that I always found so interesting about our world is that we only truly know one person in this world, and it's ourselves. We can know our children, we can know our partners, we can know, our friends, we can know our family members, but we don't know everything about them. They're always going to have parts of themselves that just surprise us. With the King of Cups, it's saying, I know me. I respect, honor, and move forward in the power that is me. Emotionally, I see who I am, and I embrace my heart, my soul, and my passion. I embrace what it is that I love, and I embrace the way that I love. And as I do so, as I come from a place of kindness, honor, and respect, I become an example for others. I become a pillar for myself to embrace the light, to embrace what I desire, but also to become a student in the public arena of the prosperity, of the bounty that I want within my life, of the way that I'm changing the past held beliefs, the entrenched ideas, and I'm going to start to look at things quite differently. This is a moon that is going to be a fantastic time for learning, for gaining an understanding, for looking at things intricately and powerfully. And this is going to be a time where we really see ourselves becoming this eternal student, becoming this person who's apprenticed to what truly brings us prosperity, bounty, and abundance within our lives. And it's going to be something, and it's going to be paths that we didn't think we would take. And it's going to be something where it's kind of like there's this shadowed areas. I'm just seeing the corgi here. And corgis used to run out rodents, right? Didn't they? Yeah, they're hunting dogs. They used to get right down in there and run out the prey. And this is going to be a time where we're going to see ourselves going into these like dark tunnels, these ways forward that we think, oh wow, what the heck is this for? And then we're going to see ourselves really catching this beautiful prize, really looking at things quite differently, quite powerfully. It leads us to the Hangman. We're seeing everything different. And that's okay. That's actually going to be really quite beautiful. It's the changing of the mind, the changing of the self. And the first thing we're going to want to do, as we always do with the Hangman, is saying, oh my gosh, I'm wrong. Everybody else sees it this way, and I see it as this. It's kind of like when the internet blew up with that dress, which some people saw as white and other people saw as blue. This is going to be a time where it's like, well, how am I wrong? Like, how can't you see it this way? And we have to step back and say, you see it one way, I see it the other. Our eyes see colors differently. Our eyes see situations differently. It's all based on how we were raised and what we were brought up with and who it is that we are and who it is that we were and who it is that we want to be. And so the Hangman is saying, you will not see things the same way as everybody else. And that is perfectly fine. Let yourself embrace the difference. Let yourself know that you are enough in this moment to hold true to what you believe and what is sacredly powerful for you. It moves us then to seeing what the moon has to say for ourselves. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels and spirit guides, angels. And so at our root, we have meditate and contemplate. Realization, you yourself are the key. It's going to bring the realization that you yourself are the key. Don't let pride get in the way, which is what we had been saying, what Spirit had been saying all about the new moon. And this is the full moon in Leo. So confidence is your key to success, but don't let pride get in your way. The darkness, the clarity, the moments where it seems like they don't matter the most. It's kind of like everything is said within the silence. It's going to be then moving us to our inner self, bring love into the situation, just as you have here the full moon in Leo. Now you have the new moon in Aquarius. You're very pulled by this Aquarius full moon, and you're going to find yourself being drawn in ways that you didn't expect. You think like, oh no, this isn't me. No, it is. Bring love into the situation. Your heart is the absolute key, and this is assessing. This is wanting to say, okay, well, I'll bring love into the situation if I've assessed it, if I've looked at it, if I've made sure everything is okay, if I've mapped everything out. No, stop planning and jump. This isn't about a spreadsheet. This isn't about, patterns. This is about being, and let yourself be. It brings us then into our inner self, where, not the inner self, the public arena, where it says communication is key. Action is going to be needed. So the communication is key, and we're going to find that if we talk, if we learn, if we ask questions, if we open up the door, it brings us to a place of action. It brings us to a place of beauty, of dance, of discovery that we hadn't anticipated. Meditation and contemplation. It brings us to a place of realization. We are the key to the lock. We are the ones who will unlock so much for us that we hadn't anticipated or expected. It brings us then to not letting pride get in the way. It's going to be so easy to let the new moon pride get in the way, to let the pride of the everyday, of the accomplishments, of the success get in the way. And this is saying here, no, let yourself shine without the ego. Let yourself shine in the power of, yes, pride of accomplishment, or, joy of accomplishment, like a job well done, but not overwhelming sense of I am my work and nothing more. It brings us to a place of bringing love into the situation and then assessing it. We also want to assess the love that we bring into the situation, not saying I'll bring certain love into the situation here, but is this situation worthy of my love? Is this situation worthy of the connection of my heart? Am I going to put myself in a situation with people who don't care, who don't understand? And how do I embrace my emotional truth? How do I let my heart move forward without fear? And that's going to be something we find quite difficult here, Capricorn. Communication is your key to success. It brings you to a place of taking action. It brings you to a place where you are the apprentice, where you are learning, where you are gaining an understanding. And it brings you to a place where you see things so differently. And that difference is what brings action forward. Now, the subconscious message of this moon is that prosperity lies ahead. Wisdom is your guide. Prosperity lies ahead. And wisdom, wisdom is had by those who have aged, right? Those who have become more mature, those who have gained more years. Why? Because it's understanding what doesn't work. It's messing up. It's things falling apart. And then it's becoming wise because of it. It's life experiences. So here, prosperity lies ahead. The wisdom that you have acquired is going to aid you more than you know. And there's a sense in our world where we honor youth above everything else. We're going to find during this time that youth isn't everything. Our subconscious energy to be mindful of is the Queen of Wands, fire sign energy, an intensity, a sense of fire, a sense of force. Again, we're going to be very drawn to fire sign energy, and we're going to find that we're very easily burned by it. There's going to be a sense of things just taking on a life of their own, and we need to look at people for who they truly are, not the successes that they say they have, or not the way that they want us to perceive them. And this is going to be a time where it's very powerful for us to say, okay, our passion is great, our determination to succeed is great, for us and for others, but I'm not falling into the trap of that race. It brings us then to our subconscious energy, chakra energy, which is truth, right here. And this is the throat chakra. Speak the truth. People might not like it. It's not being mean, though. There's something to be said. So when we speak our truth, or when we speak the truth as we see it, all right, it's not being mean. It's not tearing into other people. It's not ripping other people apart. It's saying this is truth as I see it, as I hold it, as I understand it, and this is how it empowers me. And it's also saying, like, this is what works for me and this is what doesn't. We have to think of it kind of like clothes. It's understanding what clothes work for us and what clothes don't, what colors we can wear and which ones we look absolutely garish in. So being aware like that, it's going to be like our truth. What garment, if I say this, does it feel like it's comfortable? Does it feel like it can be a part of me? Does it feel like I can wear this with honesty and integrity and power? If yes, then that's part of our truth. If no, then it's not. If it makes us feel like, ooh, this doesn't fit me the right way, or this doesn't let me feel fluidly who I am. It brings us then to our subconscious rooted energy, which is the star, Aquarius energy. We are so drawn by this Aquarius full moon, this balance of who we are and who we once were, this spiritual self and this earthly self, this sense of dreams and wishes and hopes and desires. We're going to see that during this time, because Spirit is looking deep down into our souls, because we're asking ourselves tougher questions, maybe a little bit more uncomfortable questions about what is right for us, where we want to be, what we desire, what is it that we're here for. We're going to start to see dreams coming forward that we had forgotten, that we had given up on, that felt like they weren't part of our world anymore. And yet they are very much going to be. Our subconscious inner self is the Seven of Wands. We have to not fight. So the Seven of Wands is saying, choose your battles wisely. Fight for what is intrinsically important to you. But it's kind of like being that person who's always yelling, always screaming. People just stop listening. And so here, it's like, I will fight. I will stand up for what I believe in when I need to. But I'm not wasting my energy on every single battle or every single person who doesn't understand or every single thing that doesn't go the way that I want it to. I'm letting myself save this energy for when it is powerful, for when it will have its best use. And it brings us then to our emotional self, our inner emotional self, which is the Fool. It's taking that leap of faith. It's going after what it is we know in our souls we're on this earth for, empowering and emboldening and moving us forward in a profound way. And it can be even going against what other people have said, to be able to say, but this is me, and I get to shine brightly in this knowledge, in this realization. It moves us then to our inner self, our public arena self, which is the High Priest. Again, Hierophant energy, Taurus energy, sense of traditions and institutions and ways things are, but also what are we married to? What is important to us? What if we betray it? Or what if we deny this part of ourselves? How would we feel? What is it that makes us who we are? And that is going to be the stance that we have to take. This person needs to shine forward. We need to shine forward in our truth, in our knowledge, in our power. All right, Capricorn. I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I'm sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all, and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as we embrace the power of this moon. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Capricorn, and may you have a blessed moon.